spoken word competition in which there are 5 judges that rate you, how well you perform and the content of your poem on a scale from 0.1 to 10.0. If you go over that, I'm not counting it, just deal with it. And you will have 3 minutes to compete. If you have a 10-second grace period after those 3 minutes, in which you have to speak your words. After 3 minutes and 10 seconds, you get a time penalty. I don't care if you fuck linear time or not, you still get a fucking penalty. 3 minutes, 10 seconds, no more.
Well played.
You will also have all of poets on your side if you go over, because fuck linear time. All right. Fuck linear time. Like I said, judges, you are supposed to be, you're judging.
Free the poets!
Shut up. No, I'm supposed to be
Let's talk more talk. Let's talk more talk.
Let's talk more talk. You're supposed to be I'm the fucking host. I can talk for as long as I want to. Like I said, you're judging on content and performance. It's going to be on a scale from 0.1 to 10.0. If you end up being the East Berlin judge, please ask for an escort. We will walk you to your car.
That would be me.
East Berlin is
the bad judge.
The Nazi judge.
We got a 3.7. All right.
Yeah. All right, in order to, because the first person who has to come up here and do their thing always ends up getting the short end of the stick, we have what's called a sacrificial poet. Okay, and then this evening, because I couldn't find anybody else, and not because I wrote it today, I felt like doing it. And it's actually going to be, thank you, Luz. I love that I wrote. Thank you. Thank you. Judges, this is actually going to be the first time that you have to score a piece. You're going to listen to it. I am going to be also timed. And so you're going to listen to it, rate it on a scale of 0.1 to 10.0. You can use the Olympic style with 0.6s, 0.4s, whatever. And what it's going to do is it's also going to make it easier to kind of get you warmed up and in the groove for having to judge other people's pieces. What you're going to do is you're actually going to, the time's going to start as soon as the poet makes eye contact or motions toward the audience. If you start sign languaging at the audience, you're fucked, that's time. Okay, so as soon as they motion toward the audience, time starts. You have 3 minutes from then. Judges start scoring based on what they're doing. If they're nervous, am I good? Is that everything? Is that everything? Am I good so far? Yeah?
Everybody give a big hand for Calamity J!
I'm doing it because Carrie wanted to compete and she's sexy. Sorry. I helped my first homeless person when I was 25. And before you say that's inhumane, I was taught to believe that 99.8% of all homeless people are just junkies of smack and sloth, that avarice has overtaken their arteries and they should have better handled their investment in lust. And after I've almost stepped in human defecation while taking out the trash and hosed down a store with air freshener to cover the smell of urine, theft, and failure, I wasn't entirely convinced any of that was wrong. And then this kid, this rail-thin, tanned by too many days of Nevada sunshine kid offers to clean my windshield with a sad bottle of bubbles and water and paper towels I still associate with bus stations and high school. Rough. Cheap. Not unless you take debit, honey. I'm smug. As if he hasn't heard that one before. And he looks at me like the dollar he was asking for is the nectar of the naive middle class. Like I had ripped the food out of his belly and spit on it. Because we spend money like water, and I'm sure he's been kicked out of plenty of stores trying to sip from the wealth-only water fountains. Opening the door to the car I'm still paying off, I'll take a sandwich. The sincerity in his eyes, blue as Nevada sky under this dim street lamp, I can't imagine the level of trust that lit up the circles of hellish living around his pupils, can't understand the kind of hunger that seeks satiation by the kindness of strangers. I've never eaten here. He opens the door for me, pushes his duffel away from his stomach, and I can see the wave of ribs and empty flesh through his shirt. I tell him he can have anything he wants, because I want to tattoo hearth and home on the insides of my forearms, wrap them around his shrinking body so he'll know what family feels like. I don't ask his name. Can't bear that kind of connection, so I ask him how long he's been on the streets. 2 weeks this time, but I've got a bed down at the shelter. There's an ache to his sense of pride, as if having your bootstraps yanked right out of your bare and bloody hands is still okay because you were there, on that ledge, looking down over the ants from the grimy window of your studio apartment, and for that moment, it was enough. Because it was enough after your parents' divorce and your 5th foster care home, and after your mom got clean for the 6th time and you haven't seen her since. rubbing together sweaty palms sweet with salvation from the frigid night and frostier dispositions like my own had been. He whispers thank you, over and over, like this rosary to a sinner just pretending for Saint Benedict. It's okay, honey. Everybody needs help sometimes. I did. But not to this degree, and the extra 20 pounds around my waist is a testament to my mother's love. And he actually has been the one helping me, cleaning the blacked out windows of my heart with his cheap, rough truth. I hide my shame in a quick, take care of yourself, handing over my pride and misinformation with a box of chicken fingers, slightly soggy French fries, Texas toast, and a folded $20 bill of hope.